What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the show. Got an exciting one here for you. I'm doing a mock draft of the first 4 rounds, giving you my optimal player in each of those 4 rounds, drafting from the 6th position. This is a very important episode. It's actually super informative because I'm going to give you guys some players to avoid, kind of lay out that landscape here in mid-June on how drafts are looking earlier on, okay? Players I'm going to be avoiding, players I like, walking through those first 4 rounds in a simulation mock draft based on ADP consensus ranking. So this is, again, a very important show. You're going to get a lot of golden nuggets, a lot of insight here on this show. If you're listening in the car, don't worry. You don't necessarily need the visual. The visual does help. I'm going to pull up a draft board here, but I'm going to be walking through every single pick that I like in the first 4 rounds, drafting from, again, the 6th position here. Going to walk you through it. I'm excited to dive into this, guys. Mock drafts are really important because you get to see where the ADPs are, where players are coming off, and then you have a good sense of when to draft players. So again, more of a how-to fantasy football video, knowledge video, very, very informative for fantasy football 2024, particularly in redraft leagues, 12-person, 1-point PPR. If you're new to the channel, guys, make sure you guys smash it, tap it, slap it. Hit that thumbs up, guys. Smash that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players drafted in each round. And this is making sense to you. It's like, oh, Joe, you walk me through the first 3 to 4 rounds here. This is making sense. This is making logical sense to me. I like your style. Make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft solution where I walk through full mock drafts exactly like this. So this is what 16 rounds is. It's like this, but you get a full mock draft. You get all the optimal players to draft in each round, a printable cheat sheet, all laid out on a silver platter, all my sleepers, all my breakouts, all the notes there for you. Done. Already done for you guys. So you guys have an optimal roster laid out. Grab 16 rounds, use code SMASH to save. I've linked it below, and grab a ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit upon checkout. All right, guys? You'll be light years ahead of the sheep, aka the Consheepsis. All right, guys? So grab 16 rounds, guys. I cannot tell you how important it is and how you're never going to look back after you grab 16 rounds. It's the absolute game changer, all right? So let me pull up this mock draft simulation here for you, and let's just dive right into it. So if you're in the car, I'm going to walk you through it. So what I've got is an ADP consensus mock draft. It's basically a draft board here. Basically, it is a draft board here, and we're going to be drafting from the 6th position, all right? Now, already off the board, we see Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek, Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. This is exactly what it's going to look like in reality. There may be maybe a Breece Hall coming off here in the first 5 picks. That's very possible. I've seen many variations of this, and that's fine. But these are pretty much your top 5 picks: McCaffrey, Lamb, Tyreek, Jefferson, and Jamar Chase, all right? So I'm going to tell you who I like here. And before I do, I really want to talk about these first 5 picks. Now, again, we've talked about this many, many times, why I don't like Christian McCaffrey. First and foremost, let me just remind you that in 2020 and 2021, Christian McCaffrey, literally, guys, honest to God truth, played 10 games in those 2 seasons. So I'm like, going into 2022 when he had his big season, he finished second, behind Austin Eckler. I was like, I'd rather just draft somebody else, which I've been fine. I've been drafting other players. I do fine, okay? And it's like he did well that year. And then last year he did well again. But he is coming off a Super Bowl hangover. He's coming off a contract hangover. He just got paid. So it's like, okay, right? His belly's full. And he's like 28, 29 years old. So it's like there's a lot of things pointing to him declining. So again, there's other players I like, which I'll get to in a second, that have more ceiling, that are trending upwards. I don't think Christian McCaffrey's trending upwards. He's definitely trending downwards, okay? So I wanted to make that point. And again, last year, I was doing these things. That's why, guys, you got to hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, hit the thumbs up, and grab 16 rounds. Last year, I was doing this, and I told you to avoid, straight up, Austin Eckler. He was right here, guys. He was right here. 2nd or 3rd pick. I'm like, dude, don't draft Eckler. And people are like, I'm not watching this guy. He's nuts. Well, I'm not, because I was right. And Tony Pollard was a 1st-round pick. So was Devontae Adams. So was Cooper Kupp last year. And I said, dude, don't draft Cooper Kupp round 1. Don't draft Eckler. So, guys, when I do this, I've taken into account regression for a lot of these players. I cannot express to you how important it is that you get the first 3 to 4 picks right, because that's really going to propel you. Now, mind you, the drafts are not won in the first 3 or 4 rounds. That's where 16 rounds comes in. You get all my sleepers, breakouts. You get a backup plan for a backup plan, the Sticky 7 formula. Everything's laid out. But it's a foundation. You need the foundation the first 6 rounds. You're like, okay, Joe, well, just get to your pick here. Again, That's the difference between me. I'm not just going to go here and pick. Well, I'm going to do it in a second, but I'm explaining a lot of stuff, okay? But let me make a pick and then we'll go over the first round, okay? So at this point, sixth pick, Breece is typically gone, but if it's not, I'm torn between Breece and Bijan, what do I do? Okay? Understand that the animal that we have right now that is Allgeier, we kind of know what we're up against, okay, in that offense. We know that last year, Arthur Smith was crazy by not using Bijan to his full capabilities. We understand that, okay? And we know what we're going to get with Allgeier, and it's not going to be 186 attempts like last year. It's just not going to happen. So he's taking a major regression. Bijan's getting a major boost, 100%. With Breece, with that injury a couple years ago, that kind of concerns me. He should be good to go. Can that happen again? It can happen to anybody. So that's kind of in the back of my head. But also, Braylon Allen's an absolute 20-year-old monster. He's a beast in his own right. How much work is he going to get? They drafted him. Is he a depth piece? Very possible. I still think Breece eats, and I still think he's going to be a monster, but Braylon Allen kind of bothers me. Either way, I still like Breece. I still like Bijan. If I had to choose, I'm leaning Bijan this year. So I'm going to go ahead and draft Bijan for the reasons I stated. I think he's going to be an absolute monster this year. I think he's going to eat. There's going to be nothing holding him back. They unleash him, okay? So, who do I like in the first round? There's a ton of players I like. And again, I explain all this in 16 rounds, but one of them is Bijan and the other one is Breece, okay? And we're drafting from the 6th position. I'm going to be doing other mock drafts. That's why you got to hit the thumbs up, or I'm going to be drafting from the 12th position, all right? So make sure you guys are, subscribed, turning on that bell. Let's go through some first-round players I'm not crazy on. I'll tell you kind of why. And again, these guys could all, have great seasons. They could all have outstanding seasons. So let's just go through it here. Some players that, again, I don't really, I'm not crazy about. So first one is Justin Jefferson, okay? Because this guy, literally, dude, this guy has a rookie quarterback throwing to him. J.J. McCarthy, or is it Sam Darnold? We don't know. So that, to me, is a bit of a problem, right? So I got my question marks. And here's the thing. There's other wide receivers you can get later that are have rookie quarterbacks, right? And that you don't have to spend a first-round draft capital pick, all right? That's all I'm saying. So you just got to be cautious here. Very high draft capital for Jefferson for a guy who's got a rookie quarterback throwing to him. Now you can say, well, he did well with other guys throwing to him in the past, other crappy quarterback play. I get it, but it's just I don't want to spend a 4th, 5th, early first-round pick on him. 4th overall pick, first round pick, okay? Very expensive. I think Chase is trending upwards. Tyreek, when is he going down? Isn't he due for a regression? I don't know, man. They've just paid Waddle a whole ton of money. Not feeling as warm and fuzzy about Tyreek. CeeDee Lamb, I love. The only problem is he's coming off such a massive year, pinnacle year, and me, with wide receivers coming off pinnacle years, I just don't draft them. That being said, I still think he's in a great situation. I think the talent is outstanding. There's no competition there. That's why I love Jake Ferguson as a tight end this year. I got him in all my leagues. So that being said, I still think he's going to have a good season. Amon-Ra is safe, but he's coming off a big contract. Garrett's got a high ceiling. I really want to address Puka real quick in the first round. Because again, a lot of people ask me about Puka. Last year, no one's telling you to draft him. He has this amazing year, which is amazing. They love Cooper Kupp. Now they're off Kupp, but they're on to Puka, which is crazy. So I'm just thinking to myself, it's okay, they're on Puka now, but Cooper Kupp, if he plays a full season, he was the one there with rapport already built up with Stafford. Is that going to be a problem? And I'm going to say, yeah, it could be a very big problem. And there's going to be games where Puka might have a down game and Kupp's going to be the guy. All I'm saying is that you're spending a first-round pick on a guy who could be the wide receiver too. Just be aware of that. Just don't be upset. I know Puka's looked great. I like Puka, and I love the talent. But again, you're dealing with that issue. And again, this is kind of rearranged here. So if you guys are in the car, McCaffrey, Lamb, Hill, Jefferson, Chase, Bijan, Amon-Ra, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka, and Drake London round 1. Now, Drake London typically slips into round 2. I typically see Jahmyr Gibbs come off here at the end of round 1. So either way, you can mix and match. So round 2 has started. Gibbs, Taylor, Harrison, Olave, Adams, and Ayuk. Now, again, Ayuk, at the time of this recording, I don't think he's going to be a 49er, to be honest with you. I really don't think he's going to be a 49er. If that's the case, where is he going to end up? There's talk on the Steelers, which could buzzkill George Pickens' value. But, man, it's I don't trust Ayuk. And what the crazy thing about it is here, if you take a look at the ADP and when you filter by wide receivers, it's Debo is not far behind. So it's who is it, right? And this is something that's very important right now that nobody else is talking about, is this cluster, what, with these wide receivers in rounds, like literally rounds 2 to 4, which we're going to go into in a second here. So take a quick glance here, guys, on the screen. I'm going to, if you're in the car, I'm going to read this to you. You got DJ Moore, who's kind of high up, because we're in the mid-second round. I'm ready to make a pick. I'm going to tell you who it is in a second. Like, Joe, just make the pick. No, I'm not just going to make the pick. I'm going to explain some things to you. Look at the ADP here. We got Stephon Diggs close to ADP, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks away, so he's coming off like round 3 pretty much. Okay, Cooper Kupp's coming off round 3. We don't know who the one is there. I think it's going to be Puka, but still. Nico Collins, like round 2 to 3. Dude, this guy only did well because literally Dell was banged up and there was no Diggs back there, okay? So, and there was no Mixon. So it's just, dude, it's so weird to see Nico Collins, a guy that I was telling you to draft, him and Dell. I'm like, just grab him late. Because everyone's sleeping on their wide receivers. Now they're so high valued. I'm telling everybody I did this 2K buying league, which I did. Nico came off in 3, Diggs came off in round 4, and Dell came off in round 5. It's like, dude, you guys are wasting early round draft capital on uncertainty on who the one is. And mind you, it could be wide receiver roulette. For all we know, Dell could be the one, or Dell could have a good game, then Diggs has a big game, and then, or Nico has a big game, then Diggs complains, and he has a big game. It's going to be a disaster. So all these guys are very expensive for so much uncertainty. Like Waddle here. So let's just see what happens. So I'm going to go with my guy. And we're always aiming high on the depth chart, okay? We're always aiming high on the depth chart. The reason we do that is because that guarantees us are the volume monsters. And if you try to aim high on the depth chart here, you can't do it because DJ Moore is here. It's like, okay, isn't Rome Odunze going to be the guy? He's like a top wide receiver prospect out of this draft. And they've got Keenan Allen. Like, who's the one? So by not knowing, and nobody knows, why would I do that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, dude. I'd rather have Keon Coleman than all these wide receivers, and DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, all these guys, because there's a void of over 220 plus attempts are available now. Sorry, more than that. 160 for Diggs, 80 for Gabe Davis. Yeah, over 200, some odd 20, 30, 40 attempts. My math is not mathing right now. You guys get it. 80 plus 160. Yeah, 240. When I'm looking at this, guys, I got to take a look at guys that aren't going to be in this type of situation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. You got to aim high on the depth chart. So looking at this, yeah, Evans is safe here. I don't know if I trust Anthony Richardson and Pittman too much. I'm not really crazy on them. Debo, no way. All these wide receivers are sus. For sure. Like Devontae Smith is a 2, Waddle's a 2. And you know what's crazy? There's so many ones down here. That's the value, right? And mind you, there's still value at running back later here, like Derrick Henry. Like there's so much value. But based on this, man, also quarterback, if you want Allen, you got to get him here round 2, which is not a bad play here. But mind you, there's still tons of depth at quarterback. Again, I explained all this in 60 rounds on how to go about drafting. But again, I'm going to draft the best player possible. Looking at this man, Saquon. I mean, he is in a prime position. We saw Swift do okay on the Eagles offense, and he sucked his entire career, finished the season healthy. Knock on wood, Saquon could do the same thing. He's had some, issues before. But dude, Saquon, like, what a great deal here. Or you can wait and get Henry round 3 and get a wide receiver here. Again, some people say it's a bit of a reach. It's not. But I love Malik Neighbors. Out of all these wide receivers, DJ Moore, Waddle, Collins, Debo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 2s, 1s, we're not sure. Mike Evans, older. Why not go for a guy who we guaranteed the one on his team? Daniel Jones playing with a chip on his shoulder. Malik Neighbors. And again, in a 2K buy-in league, Neighbors went off in round 2. So this is not a stretch. And sometimes it's based on ADP, but some of these guys come off way higher. Right? Just because their ADP says, oh, Malik is like, the 15th or 20th receiver down. What is he? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 14 players down. I'm still going to go Malik Neighbors here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm still getting the wide receiver 1 here on his team. I'm not playing this wide receiver roulette. So you can see here, guys, let's go round 2. Gibbs, Taylor. By the way, Gibbs, that's a whole other discussion. I think Montgomery's going to be a pest. I love Gibbs, but I'm annoyed with Montgomery. Taylor, Harrison, Olave, which I think is going to be safe. I don't know about Carr. He's not exciting. Adams, Ayuk, I don't trust here. I love Neighbors. Barkley went off. Kyron. Nico, round 2. Josh Allen, we expect that. Waddle. Again, didn't you guys learn your lesson, Consheeps, last year when T. Higgins was coming off end of round 2 and he was the 2 on his team? Guys, I want to emphasize this point. Do not draft a guy who's a guaranteed wide receiver 2 in round 2. That if you learn nothing from this video, take that, put it in your pocket and say, the counselor is the only guy making sense. He's not drafted down ADP. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, why would I draft a wide receiver 2 on his team in round 2? Well, because he gets No. Aim high, guys. Go for the home runs. That's how you're going to win your leagues. Believe me, I do this every year. I know what I'm talking about. All right, so back to this. Nico, Josh Allen, and Waddle around at round 2. Mike Evans, Pittman, Laporta to start off round 3. Now, Laporta's coming off early round 2. This ADP is a little out of whack. Comes off way earlier. ATN, who I'm not crazy on. DJ Moore, round 3. Again, it's like, okay, why would I go DJ Moore when Allen could be the one, or Rome could be the one, and there's a rookie quarterback? Like, it just doesn't make, there's so many flags here. And again, it's going to be wide receiver roulette. So it's a disaster. So I'm not doing it. So with me, with the 16-round line mentality, I'm looking for the workhorse. I'm looking for the guy that's the alpha. Dude, Henry is sitting right there. Derrick Henry, man, we're talking about a guy who's going to be on a great offense, good O-line. I know you could say, well, yeah, he's going to see stacked boxes because I'm not sure on Zay Flowers, blah, blah, blah. Dude, he's still the king. He's going to get work. And I'm not crazy on running backs being in situations with rushing quarterbacks, but that's just the way the NFL is going right now. Saquon, I still think he's going to eat with Hurts. And I think Henry's definitely going to eat with Lamar. And typically I don't like it. Now, these guys are workhorses, whereas you got James Cook. I don't like with Josh Allen, but James Cook is not Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is 100% going to eat. I'm not concerned at all, and he's going to get all the goal line work. So it's going to take pressure off Lamar Jackson. So I'm looking at this, man, and Henry's just jumping out at me here, right here, man. I take a look at wide receiver, and what are we comparing it to? We get guaranteed workhorse in Henry. Are we going to go Debo? I mean, they drafted Ricky Parcell round 1. Ayuk's still there at the time of this recording. They got George Kittle. They got CMC. Is Debo like the wide receiver 3-4 option on there? Like, I don't know. Metcalf, I mean, JSN takes a step up. Do I trust Geno Smith throwing the ball? Cooper Kupp, we're not sure. Is it going to be him or Puka? Devontae Smith, he's the wide receiver 2, guaranteed. Stephon Diggs in Houston. Is it Diggs? Is it Nico? Like, what are we doing here? Guys, this is totally messed up. These guys, I don't care for any of them. Look at Higgins here, Kirk. Kirk isn't the one. They got Brian Thomas Jr. I'd rather have Brian Thomas Jr. than Kirk, right? We saw Kirk fade off last year with Ridley there. He's not good. Kirk was never good. He was just an overpaid wide receiver. So, guys, I'm looking at this, man. I'm just thinking to myself, I want to get the best possible player. Take a quick glance at tight end. Kelsey's good value here. Not bad. I could go quarterback. That's very viable here. A Strout would be awesome here. But again, Henry's the most viable option here based on upside, based on talent, based on opportunity, based on volume. I'm going to go ahead and grab Henry. So buy Jan Henry, Malik Neighbors. That's a solid start. Other starts, and we'll wrap this up here with round 4, but other starts, imagine this guy with Ayuk and Achane. Achane, I don't trust on that offense. He's explosive, but he that injury, and I don't know, man. They drafted a rookie who's a speedster as well, ran a 4-point, I don't know what it was, 2.9, whatever it was. Anyway, so it's just wild there. Debo Samuel, Rachaad White, Richardson, Lamar Jackson, Smith to round out round 3. I don't know, man. These guys, I don't trust. Rachaad White's mediocre. I don't care for him. Richardson, that's another thing with Richardson. Why are we drafting Richardson? The guy's only played 4 games his entire career. When you get a quarterback that's proven, especially if you're spending a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback. Like, I'd rather have somebody who's proven. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I love the ceiling with Richardson. I get it. The guy had 4 rushing touchdowns in 3 games that he played, right? So it's just like, okay, but I don't know, man. It's question marks. I don't really trust Lamar. Lamar's coming off here at the end of round 3. I just feel like he finished last year, he did good, but a couple of years prior, he just wasn't finishing seasons. So is he going to stay healthy? That's my question. I just don't feel warm and fuzzy about him, but it is what it is. So anyways, we got Bijan, Malik, Derrick Henry. And okay, so starting off round 4, Kelsey, Metcalf, Pacheco, Jacobs, Cook, and Mixon. Again, I told you I'm not crazy on Cook. They got Ray Davis in there. They got Frank Gore Jr. Bit of a disaster. And they got Josh Allen, who likes to rush the ball a lot. So who are we going here, guys? And you're going to drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Is this making sense? Because 100% I know what I'm talking about here. I've got certainty. Don't let me convince you. I'm just telling you facts. But if you want me to convince you, you guys are just using logic. This is common sense stuff. And you guys, everyone thought I was crazy. Not you guys, not the 16 rounders that got 16 rounds, the people that are line mentality. Everyone's like, Joe's crazy. He's nuts. How do you pass up on Higgins round 2? How do you pass up on Pollard round 1? How do you pass up on Eckler round 1? How do you pass up on Mike Evans round not Mike Williams round 4 or 5? How do you pass up on J.K. Dobbins round 4? How do you think Sam Laporta is going to be a top tight end this year? How can he be your tight end 1? How do you trust that, Joe? It's because I see opportunity, guys. I look at depth chart. I look at talent. I look at situations. When I see this, man, and I'm just looking at a disaster here, guys. It's going to be one of those years where we're just going to look back and say, oh my God, people were drafting DJ Moore round 3, and we didn't know who the 1 was, but like Rome Odunze emerges, he becomes the next Puka for all we know, right? He's come out and said, I want to be the next Puka. Like, and we went DJ Moore round 3. It's going to be crazy, guys. It's going to be absolutely nuts. And my nose is itching right now. I got allergies. It's been crazy. I'm hyped up, man. So does this make sense? Drop a comment. Let me know. This is making sense, all right? If you guys want all the solution, get 16 rounds. I lay it all out for you in detail. So let's get this 4th pick out of the way. And to be honest with you, I take a quick glance at wide receiver. Not liking what I see in Cooper Kupp, Diggs. And again, why would I go Diggs round 4 when I'm not even sure he's the one? Like, it could be Dell for all we know. We don't know. We don't know. Amari Cooper, I mean, he's old. Like Keenan Allen here, round 4. No. The guy missed the last 3 games. Let me remind you here, guys. Cooper missed the last 3 games of fantasy football playoffs last year. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you other than he sucks. He's old. He's on his 18th season. Forget him. Zay Flowers, I don't know if he's going to get the volume. Higgins, Kirk, I don't like these options. Terry McLaurin has some upside at the quarterback upgrade with Daniels, but again, still, so I don't know, man. Dell, Pickens has some upside, but if Ayuk ends up there, that could be us kill it, right? So I'm going to pass on wide receiver here. I take a quick glance at running back. I think we're good at running back. There's a ton of running backs I love here. Not Aaron Jones, not Montgomery, not James Conner. How is James Conner ahead of the dynamic, amazing Trey Benson? Are you kidding me? Drafting on ADP, you guys are going to lose. You guys are going to lose. I'm telling you right now. Tight end, I take a quick glance here. Bunch of tight ends I like. Kincaid could be good. A couple other guys, Ferguson. I take a look at quarterback here. And you know what? I'm going to anchor my team with my ace quarterback in CJ Stroud. Now, here's the nice thing about this. Here's the little caveat or whatever you want to explain it to, however you want to explain it here. Let me tell you my team. So I have no problem taking CJ Stroud. Take the quarterback that's got all these high wide receivers in the early rounds, but don't take the wide receivers. Does that make sense? If everybody's drafting, the wide receivers for the Texans in rounds 2, 3, and 4, or 3, 4, and 5, wherever they're coming off that early, pretty much, as you can see, according to this ADP, they're coming off very early, right? Nico Collins, round 2. Where did Diggs come off? Diggs, I can't even see him right now. Help me out here, guys. You guys are not on live. So Diggs came off round 5. He slipped. Usually comes off right after Nico. And then Dell, so this is a little bit off, but Diggs comes off 4 or 3, and then Dell rounds 4 to 5. Either way, don't take the wide receivers, take the quarterback. So I'm I'll take Stroud, no problem, because I know it's going to be a great offense. I think they're going to eat, but we don't know with wide receivers. So take the quarterback, okay? And dude, there's tons of great backup quarterbacks, which I explained in 60 rounds. It's because you always have to have a backup plan for a backup plan, which I explain how to do. So you're going to have an optimal roster you could take later. So my team so far drafting from the 6th position, Byjan, Malik, Derrick Henry, CJ Stroud. Got my 2 ace running backs in a world where running backs aren't getting a lot of volume. It's a situation where there's committees everywhere, but Byjan and Henry are prime. They have no competition. And you want those type of running backs. And there's a ton of running back sleepers, which I lay out in 60 rounds as well. So that is my roster in the first 4 rounds, how to handle it. You really want to avoid the cluster, of wide receivers with the Rome Odunze and the DJ Moore and the Keenan Allen and the Diggs and the Dell and the Nico. We don't know. Now, mind you, Keenan Allen gets hurt, right? DJ Moore kind of falls off, and Rome Odunze becomes a top 10 wide receiver. Very possible. But you're basically playing wide receiver roulette in the early rounds, guessing at which one of the wide receivers is going to be. Or it could be Rome Odunze gets hurt, Keenan Allen emerges, becomes the target hog, and DJ Moore just falls off by the wayside. We don't know. So that's why, guys, if you want to take chances, draft Jaden Reed later, draft Romeo Doubs later, draft Ladd McConkey later, right? Dude, you guys are going to be light years ahead of the sheep. Just grab 16 rounds, guys. You're going to aim high on the depth chart. You're going to have a backup plan for a backup plan. You're going to crush it, all right? Let me know what you guys think here. Is this making sense? Common sense ain't that common. Let your league mates waste their picks on these guys. You're going to be flying through the Consheepsis this year, guys. I assure you guys, you're going to be light years ahead of the sheep. Make sure you guys subscribe, thumbs up, smash the tap and slap it. Let me know what you guys think in this fantasy football mock draft. And keep them rolling for you from different positions. Keep talking strategy, fantasy football advice here. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini mock draft based on Sheep's rankings. Take one last look here. Again, man, I'm telling you, I feel really confident with it. And a lot of these other guys just be wasting picks. Wasting picks. You don't want to be one of those people, guys. Be a lion. Don't be a sheep. Stray away from the Sheepses. They'll lead you astray. Common sense ain't that common. Line up, guys. Smash it, tap it, slap it. Grab 16 rounds. You'll be light years ahead of the sheep. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm out. Keep the content rolling for you guys daily. We'll talk soon.